We want to take out.
How do you word it? It's so easy. What do you say?
Dunmire. He's the tyrant of Tulsa.
Dunmire, he's fascinating.
Power in Tulsa doesn't belong to the bold anymore. It belongs to whoever survives the fire. And in Season 3, Episode 8, that fire is about to consume everything Dwight Manfredi has built. The new trailer doesn't just tease chaos, it promises it. The man who once controlled the streets is now the one being hunted. His allies are fading, his enemies are multiplying, and for the first time, Dwight isn't sure which side he's on. The trailer for Tulsa King. Season 3, Episode 8 opens with a world that feels colder than ever. The fallout from Episode 7 still hangs heavy in the air, and Dwight Manfredi is standing right in the center of the storm he created. His war with Jeremiah Dunmire has reached a breaking point. What started as a power move has turned into an all-out collision between the law, the streets, and Dwight's own inner circle. The tone is darker now. The confidence Dwight once carried has turned into quiet calculation. The trailer's atmosphere tells us everything. This isn't the same man who walked into Tulsa with a plan. This is someone cornered, wounded, and desperate to keep his empire from falling apart. The camera lingers on his face, cold and determined, as a voice whispers, "You started something you can't control." That one line sets the stage for everything that follows. We see glimpses of the fallout. Goody and Mitch questioning Dwight's decisions, Tyson looking more distant than ever, and Quiet Ray's shadow closing in from the streets. It's no longer about control, it's about survival. The alliances that once gave Dwight strength are now the biggest threats to his life. But the real danger doesn't come from the streets this time. It comes from the system itself. The Attorney General, once a pawn in Dunmire's corrupt empire, is now a wild card, no longer taking orders, and possibly playing both sides. A single line in the trailer, "You think you own Tulsa, Mr. Manfredi? Tulsa owns you," sends chills down the spine. It's becoming clear. Dwight's enemies aren't just gangsters or politicians anymore. They're ghosts inside the system, watching, recording, and waiting for him to make one mistake. Files are moving, phones are tapped, and every deal he's ever made could come back to destroy him. The trailer hints at paranoia creeping in, quick cuts, hushed voices, and that haunting sense that Dwight is being hunted by people he can't even see. Then there's Quiet Ray. His silent rivalry with Dwight, simmering since Season 2, finally erupts. The trailer doesn't show a confrontation, just the tension of it. A shot of headlights in a rearview mirror, a sense that someone's being followed, and Dwight's voice saying, "I know what you're doing." It's subtle, but powerful, because in Tulsa, the most dangerous moves are the ones made in silence. But the twist isn't just about betrayal, it's about exposure. That missing bottle from Dwight's first big job, it's no longer just contraband, it's evidence. Someone leaked it, and the trailer makes it clear. The leak came from inside his circle. The betrayal theme is stronger than ever. Margaret and Cal Thresher, once seen as his strongest allies, are now under the microscope. Are they helping Dwight or setting him up to fall? And then comes the voiceover that steals the trailer. Every empire burns from within. It's a reminder that Dwight's biggest enemy might not be Dunmire, Ray, or even the Attorney General. It might be himself. The trailer's second act takes the story into much darker territory. What was once a battle for power now feels like a game of survival, and Dwight Manfredi is losing his grip on both. Every relationship he's built since coming to Tulsa starts to fracture under the weight of fear and suspicion. The streets are whispering, the system is closing in, and Dwight's empire is beginning to rot from the inside out. The trailer opens with a simple but chilling line from Mitch, "You don't see it, Dwight. They're already inside." Those words hit harder than any gunshot. Because for the first time, Dwight isn't sure who's betraying him or why. The camera flashes through quick glimpses, stacks of cash burned, men arguing in shadows, and Margaret looking down at a sealed envelope stamped with a government seal. Her face says everything: guilt, regret, and fear. She's hiding something, and it's tearing her apart. Rumors begin to spread that the Attorney General's office has evidence connecting Dwight's trucking business to illegal shipments. The missing bottle from his old operation, the one everyone thought was long gone, has resurfaced as a key piece of evidence. Someone close to Dwight gave it up, and the trailer makes sure we know it wasn't an outsider. The betrayal came from within his trusted circle. The emotional weight of this moment is heavy. Dwight has always believed loyalty is everything. But the trailer paints a different picture now. Loyalty is dead, and everyone is out for themselves. Goody looks uneasy. Tyson is avoiding Dwight's calls, and even his most loyal men are starting to question whether following him is worth the risk. The tension between Dwight and Quiet Ray continues to build. We catch short glimpses. Ray's men watching Dwight's crew, unmarked cars following trucks through the night. A hand loading bullets in slow motion. There's no need for dialogue. The silence is louder than any words. Ray isn't coming after Dwight's money. He's coming for his peace of mind. Every move, every deal, every phone call feels like a trap. And then comes the line that shakes everything. You're not the hunter anymore, Dwight. You're the bait. It's a brutal reminder that his enemies have turned his own methods against him. The same intimidation, manipulation, and strategy that built his empire are now being used to dismantle it. The hunter has become the hunted. The trailer shifts tone midway, slowing down as if time itself is suffocating. We see Dwight alone, sitting in his office, a cigarette burning out in the ashtray, the lights dimmed. His reflection in the glass isn't that of a king, but of a man haunted by the cost of his choices. For the first time, Dwight looks scared, not of death, but of losing everything he built, trying to escape the man he once was. Then, the Attorney General reappears. His voice, calm but cold, echoes over scenes of chaos. You don't scare me, Mr. Manfredi. You never did. It's not a statement. It's a warning. It means someone else is in control now. Someone smarter, hidden deeper within the system, and far more dangerous than Jeremiah Dunmire ever was. The game has changed. The corruption that Dwight thought he could expose has evolved into something untouchable. Every frame of the trailer reinforces that feeling of being watched. Camera flashes, wiretaps, whispers, even the sound design hums with paranoia. We see files moving across desks, unmarked boxes being loaded into vans, and Dwight's men being questioned one by one. The net is tightening, and just when it feels like things can't get any worse, the trailer gives us one final shock. A short, silent shot of Margaret meeting someone in a parked car. The same envelope appears again, but this time it's open. She's handing something over, and the camera never shows who's on the other side. Only her voice, trembling as she says, I didn't have a choice. That moment changes everything. Because in the world of Tulsa King, no betrayal happens by accident. It's always a move in a much bigger game. The tension that's been building finally explodes in Tulsa King. Season 3, Episode 8's trailer. The tone shifts from paranoia to pure defiance. Dwight Manfredi, once cornered, isolated, and betrayed, starts to fight back. But this isn't the old Dwight who relied on charm or street smarts. This is a man who has nothing left to lose, and that makes him far more dangerous. The trailer opens with the sound of heavy breathing, the camera pulling back to reveal Dwight standing over a table covered with maps, photos, and files. The chaos around him is collapsing, but there's a fire in his eyes we haven't seen since the beginning. For the first time, it feels like Dwight understands exactly how deep the corruption runs, and he's preparing to burn everything that stands in his way. A line cuts through the silence like a knife. If I can't buy peace, I'll take it. That's not a negotiation. It's a declaration of war. From that point on, the trailer moves with relentless momentum. We hear the AG's voice in the background, ordering arrests and raids. We see flashes of Dwight's operations being torn apart. Trucks seized, phones smashed, money gone. Every empire he built, every connection he made is being dismantled in front of him. But this time, Dwight isn't running. He's hunting. The next few moments are quick and chaotic. A car speeding through the night, a deal going wrong, a face hidden behind a curtain. And then, in one chilling moment, Dwight looks straight at someone off camera and says, "You think I don't know who it was? I always know." That line sends shivers because it suggests Dwight already knows who betrayed him. And instead of confronting them openly, he's using that knowledge to set a trap. The trailer cuts to flashes. Dwight shaking hands with Cal Thresher, a glass of whiskey being poured, a coded message passed across a bar. Cal, the ambitious politician, promises to help Dwight clear his name. But the smirk on his face tells a different story. He's not there to save Dwight. He's there to use him. Still, Dwight plays along. He's been in this game too long not to recognize a double agent. The trailer gives us hints that Dwight is setting up his own counterstrike, feeding false information, baiting his enemies into turning on each other. The tension is thick, but underneath it all, there's a quiet confidence returning to Dwight's voice. He's done being the hunted. Now he's the one pulling the strings. Quiet Ray's presence looms large again. The trailer briefly shows his men tailing Dwight's crew, but this time, Dwight doesn't avoid them. He lets them follow. He's leading them somewhere, into a setup that promises bloodshed. The trailer doesn't show what happens next, but the tone says it all. One side won't make it out alive. Margaret's role becomes even more complicated. After the reveal that she might be working with the Attorney General, we see a moment where she confronts Dwight face to face. Her voice shakes as she says, "I didn't mean to hurt you." But Dwight's silence is worse than any words. The expression on his face tells us that the man who once trusted her is gone. What's left is someone colder, sharper, and ready to make the hardest decisions of his life. The trailer continues to tighten its grip, layering betrayal over strategy, fear over revenge. The soundtrack builds, a slow, rhythmic beat that feels like a ticking clock. Every second feels like it's leading to something explosive. Then comes a montage. Dwight loading a gun, doors breaking open, a storm sweeping over Tulsa. The screen cuts to black just as Dwight's voice echoes, "You can take my money. You can take my men, but you'll never take my city." It's a defining moment. The king has fallen, but he's not dead. He's about to rise again. Not as a gangster, not as a businessman, but as something far more ruthless. The trailer makes it clear that episode 8 isn't just another chapter. It's the turning point. The calm strategist we knew is gone. What's coming now is chaos, and Dwight Manfredi is the one bringing it. But then, just before the trailer ends, there's one final twist. A voice we haven't heard in a long time. A voice that says, "You really think you're the only one who can play this game?" The screen fades to black. Fans immediately recognize it. Jeremiah Dunmire. The ghost Dwight thought he'd buried has returned. And that single line rewrites everything we thought we knew. The real war for Tulsa hasn't even begun. The trailer shifts into chaos, and this is where Tulsa King, Season 3, Episode 8, becomes something far bigger than anyone expected. The tone is darker, the shots faster, and the stakes higher than ever. Dwight Manfredi isn't fighting to survive anymore. He's fighting to reclaim his throne. We open with a smoky skyline, Tulsa burning in the distance, sirens blare, helicopters circle overhead. The once calm city is now a war zone. Dwight's empire, built piece by piece since he arrived, has collapsed around him. His men are scattered, his businesses raided, and his allies either dead or running scared. But amidst the wreckage, Dwight stands tall, bruised but unbroken. The look in his eyes says it all. It's time to end this. The trailer cuts to an abandoned warehouse, Dwight's new headquarters. Around him are just a handful of loyal faces, the last remnants of his crew. He spreads a map on the table, outlining what looks like a plan of total retaliation. "We hit back tonight," he says. "No more warnings." The next few shots come like a barrage. Explosives being planted, silencers fixed on guns, cars speeding through the night. Dwight's voice overlays the chaos. "They wanted a war. Let's give them one they'll never forget." But this isn't mindless revenge. It's strategic, cold, and precise. The Dwight we see here has evolved into something else entirely. Every move is calculated. Every ally and enemy is a chess piece. Even Cal Thresher, the slick politician who betrayed him, is being used in ways he doesn't realize. There's a chilling scene where Cal receives a call in his car. He's nervous, sweating. The voice on the other end tells him, "It's done." He knows. Cal looks up, realizing too late that he's been outplayed. The next moment, his car explodes in a flash of fire. Dwight's revenge has begun. Meanwhile, Margaret's storyline hits its emotional breaking point. She's seen on the steps of a courthouse, surrounded by reporters. The Attorney General beside her looks confident, but she's trembling. Flashbacks show the moment she handed over evidence against Dwight. The hesitation, the guilt, the tears. Now, as she looks into the cameras, a single tear runs down her cheek. Somewhere deep down, she knows Dwight's not the monster they painted him to be, and that realization will cost her dearly. The trailer then cuts to one of the most gripping moments, a meeting in a rain-soaked alley between Dwight and Quiet Ray. Two predators facing each other for the first time since the war began. Dwight lights a cigarette, his hand trembling slightly, but his voice steady. "You think you can take what's mine and walk away?" Quiet Ray smirks. "You lost this city the moment you got soft." Dwight takes one last drag and throws the cigarette to the ground. "Then let's see who burns first." The scene explodes into violence, gunfire, chaos, the kind of raw cinematic brutality Tulsa King is known for. But even in the firefight, Dwight's not reckless. He's leading, orchestrating, making every bullet count. The camera follows him through the smoke, each frame a visual symbol of his rebirth, from fallen king to avenging ghost. As the battle rages, something shocking happens. Jeremiah Dunmire, the man thought to be dead, emerges from the shadows. His face is scarred, his voice raspier, but his presence is commanding. The trailer reveals that Dunmire has been working with the Attorney General all along, manipulating both sides. The chaos in Tulsa, it was his design. Every betrayal, every hit, every downfall, all part of his revenge against Dwight. In one haunting flashback, we see how Dunmire survived, left for dead in a burning house, crawling out with half his face scorched. His hatred for Dwight became the only thing keeping him alive. And now, after years in hiding, he's returned to finish what was started. The trailer builds to a jaw-dropping climax. Dwight and Dunmire finally facing off in a dimly lit church. The symbolism is heavy. Faith, sin, redemption, all colliding in one final confrontation. Dunmire's words cut deep. "You built an empire on loyalty. But tell me, Dwight, where's your army now?" Dwight doesn't flinch. He simply replies, "Right where they've always been. Watching." Suddenly, doors burst open. Dwight's remaining crew storms in, guns raised. Dunmire's men return fire. The screen becomes a blur of light, sound, and vengeance. Then, silence. The trailer fades to black, but just before it ends, we hear one last line from Dwight, spoken over the sound of distant thunder. "Every king falls, but the crown always finds its way back." Cut to the title, Tulsa King, Season 3, Episode 8, The Last Reign. It's clear now, this episode isn't just about revenge. It's about legacy, power, and the cost of loyalty. Dwight Manfredi is no longer fighting for survival. He's fighting to remind everyone who truly owns Tulsa